Alright guys, so today we're going to be doing what to look for in buying a BMW E60 with 100,000 miles. Stay tuned to the end of this video. There's going to be a little bit of a surprise. It might shock a lot of you. Don't skip ahead, watch the video, and then we'll go to it. So we're going to start off with everything you need to look for on buying one of these 100,000 miles. Okay, so we have a list here, and the very first thing, and it's not to say that this is going to happen at 100,000 miles, but you can see the hood on this thing is kind of scuffy looking. It doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to look any better. And a lot of guys are having that problem, especially with black. So look out for that first. We're going to go with exterior and then go to the drivetrain and interior. Basically, the headlamps are the Achilles heel of the E60. Most of them are all faded. This one, the lights were falling out in. Put new lenses on them, put LED everything except for the HID low beams, but you can still see a little bit of a seam there where we put it back together. Not to mention, after you do all that, the issue we had, or I had, was then the adaptive headlamps stopped working. So we coated those out. Those are done. Everything works pretty good, I mean, to be honest with you. Windshield trim in front and rear. The windshield trim on all these cars on the top is always missing or rotten. The rubber is. This one has it front and rear, and yeah, I mean, just a lot. We're gonna go over here real quick. I'm not gonna make this a big long video. Drivetrain suspension, the transmission service. If you're gonna buy one with around 100K on it, it should be on its second transmission service. That means new fluid, new filter. However, at 100,000 miles, you need to do the sleeves, the mechatronic sleeves. Those are done in this car. All the service is done on that. The front control arms and tie rods. You guys remember back on the videos when we did this, we did all the control arms. I'm pretty sure I did tie rods in this car. I really can't remember. We did all that stuff, checked the alignment. Alignment was great on it, actually. Let me see here. The struts. E60 struts tend not to last very long. I don't know why that is. So we have aftermarket struts in the front, and I can't remember what brand they were. It's been so long ago. There's been so many cars between now and then when I did this. I can't remember the brand of it. They were fairly expensive for the X-Drive car. They're a little bit different than all the rest of the normal ones. Brake pads and rotors. We got drilled slotted disc on the front, ceramic pads on the front. On the rear, we put these ceramic pads on the rear, but the discs look a little bit shabby on the back. They're not too terrible. Let me get out of this wind. So windy. We got the big mics on, but I don't trust it still. These cars have an issue. Everything's new on it. Everybody else says they have the same issue. When you get on the brakes, sometimes you get a little bit of a shake. You let off and hit it again and it doesn't do it. Very odd. E60 is known for that. The all-wheel drive cars, the front drive shaft replacement from U-joint going bad. So on the front drive shaft, you guys see me do this, the E90. We did something else too on here. The front drive shaft on the X-Drive cars, the rear U-joint likes to seize up, likes to get dried out and rusty. So we replaced that. It wasn't making any noise, but you know, the way it is. Front CV axles. In this thing, in that thing, in X5s, X3s, they tend to eat up CV axles pretty quick. Now, you have only a couple choices: OEM, Chinese, and actually got some Duralast Golds in this one, like the highest AutoZone ones. They've been holding up really good in it. No vibration out of them. And that's what you get. You get like a humming when you let off the gas or when you're on the accelerator, and then vibration if they're bad. But luckily, these have been holding up really good. We're probably going to put the same ones in the E90 over here, actually, because they're getting bad also. Service, front diff, and transfer case. So this one we checked. I think we serviced all three, front and rear diff and transfer case all together. This one's just old enough where it still takes the transmission fluid. Once you get a little bit newer than this in the F-Series cars, you have to use a special fluid for the transfer case. All right, so 100K miles. 100,000 miles, you need to change all the coolant stuff. So that includes radiator hoses, this little nipple on the front of here if it's N52, the expansion tank, the radiator cap, the expansion tank cap, you might say, not radiator cap, expansion tank cap, the valve cover itself, the PCV in it, PVC, I can't remember which one's a drug or something, the other one's plastic. Anyhow, that goes bad. The valve cover gets cracked about that age. This has a brand new one on it. Goes without saying, do the valve cover gasket. Usually those new valve covers come with the eccentric shaft gasket and everything all intact, as this one did. The coil packs, they may not be done at 100K, but to avoid future issues, you need to change them. This has all new Bosch in it. Should be no problem at all with that. The starter. When we first got this car, the starter is funky on it, like every other car I get. So we replaced that. That company that was selling them on Amazon that makes them in Japan. We have really good luck with them. That's what this has on it. That's all been done. The disavowals, if installed, this car does not have those. Don't have to worry about that. Oil pan gasket. We did that when we had the engine out. Remember, we did the engine swap on this thing because it was blown up. I think the new engine had 113,000 miles on it, I believe. So we went in and did front and rear main. We did oil pan gasket. At that point in time, we did the oil filter housing gasket and all that stuff. The rear main probably didn't have to be replaced. It wasn't really leaking, but why it's out of the car? Why not, right? Van solenoids, they sit right down there. You pretty much have to use OEM. They're like $350. This has brand new ones in it. Cam sensors, same way. All this stuff at 100K. If you don't replace it at 100K, it's going to get you down the road. Trust me, in a real big way. I already went over the radiator hoses. Electric water pump. This has electric water pump. It sits under the engine. The thermostat's right next to it. If you do not replace that around 100K, some don't even make it at 100K. Some will make it more than 100K. If you don't replace that, it's going to get you. We didn't replace it on the E90 when I sold it at 149,000 miles, and it went out the next day. That was sweet. As all new Pureberg stuff, no junk, all the best of the best. Idler pulley and tensioners, we did both the idler pulleys and the belt and everything whenever we had the engine out. If not, eventually the bearing goes out in the tensioner, it runs it off the pulley and derails the belt. Fuel filter, you guys remember, I almost caught myself on fire doing it. Not really, but it's under the back seat. The fuel filter, the little neck was cracked on it, the plastic neck. We replaced all that. That wasn't too bad. Power steering lines and filler tank. Power steering tank and all associated lines with it got replaced in this car. And that's pretty much it. Interior wise, this doesn't have the little cheap iDrive. It has the big iDrive, the widescreen. And that doesn't really have any issues. Format's a little dirty. Other than that, the car is pretty good shape overall. This has a new style shifter. It is LCI car. And then has the DVD for the nav, all that kind of crap. A lot of them doesn't always have that. That's kind of an option. It being black on black, interior and exterior. A little bit of dust in the door there, huh? That's pretty much it. The inside, they don't really ever have too many issues interior wise. Headliners aren't too common for falling down. The seats on these don't have the issue that like the E39s had where they would twist. This car doesn't have a lot, I'm not saying it's impossible, it doesn't have a lot of window regulator issues either, or door handle issues. They fixed a lot of stuff in newer years, and that's one nice thing about the E60. At 100K, you shouldn't be having too many electrical problems. We had some water in the ECU box when I bought this car. I replaced the ECU, had it recloned. Everything's good, no lights on, which is rare for a E60. Now I do have a phantom timing light on, and we had that before we replaced the vanilla solenoids, before we replaced the cam sensors, everything. It might come on once, might come on, you drive it for 10 minutes, it might not come on for a week or a month. It's freaking bizarre. Doesn't make the car run any different. That's really the only issue this thing has. And you can see here, it's got a little mess up on the front bumper there, a little scuff here and there. So you guys are probably saying, Nathan, why are you telling me all this crap about your car? We don't care. Well, probably do. And you're all saying, why is that? Well, I've decided to sell the E60. The E60 has 95,000 miles on it. Everything's been done. It is all-wheel drive, so it's X-Drive. Has brand new wheels and tires on it. They have less than 1,000 miles on them, or about 1,000 miles on them. It's time. I can't really make any other videos on this car. That's the problem. And I want to go buy some other stuff. I have some other stuff I'm watching right now, and that's it. How much, you say? I never really thought about it too much. I ran the book on it. It looks like a very good amount for the car. Is probably $6,000. And you're gonna say, Nathan, you got 8,000 plus in it. I do, but I want to do other stuff. And even though we just built this big giant shop, we're almost out of room already. So that thing needs to go. That's gonna free up some money to go buy some other cars with for the channel. That's where I need to go. What's the fate of the E90 gonna be? We need to do some work on that car first. It might have the same fate as the E60. I really don't know yet. But right now the E60 is for sale. Let's say I'm firm on $6,000, I guess. As far as I know right now, that's the case. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked the video. We'll talk to you later.